Kevin just went in there.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Nain's Shorts. I just got killed. I don't know. You guys can rewatch that as many times as you want. But how do we get to this point? How do we get to the point where we're free flowing? Now, we made contact. We used everything that we've learned. We've hit high, we've hit low. We did our thrusts, we did our watiks. Everything that you've seen in Filipino martial arts, we were using against each other. Some of them landed, some of them didn't. Of course, we weren't actually trying to hurt each other. So, what were we doing? We were flowing. We were expressing what we understand of the art with each other in a fight simulation. And it is a simulation because we really weren't trying to cause any harm to one another, but we were going at a decent speed. We started off with a basic sombrada that we do, and it wasn't the cleanest sombrada. I know a lot of people in the art will push on the idea that, oh, you could have done that cleaner, you could have done that. And I've seen some great sombradas being performed by some great practitioners, and then I've seen those same practitioners go into a competition, into a padded stick competition, or even the softer sticks, the whip hack. What is it called?
Whip hacks.
And I don't see any of that crispness. Now, I'm not trying to say anything negative about that or them specifically. I'm just saying is, what is the point of making that drill so crisp, so sharp, if it doesn't come out later on in an actual fight? And that's what we were doing. We were just fighting. Now, we learned the control, so we were safe. We weren't actually going to accidentally hit each other. Anytime we made contact, it was deliberate, because we want the person that we're playing with to understand, yeah, I got you there, you got me here. You got me here, I got you there. And then we died. Or I died. One of the two. I'll rewatch the video and see. Maybe I can figure out if I got a few good hits in there myself. But ultimately, he is my instructor, so he is pretty good at what he does. But he taught me to flow and go into things, not through rigid structure, but through flow, from one move to the next to the next. And the way that we go about doing so for our students is first understanding how to hit. Now, why does that become important? Well, accuracy. If you can always hit what you want, when you want, at any given point, well, that also means that you can stop short of hitting whatever it is you want, when you want, or when you don't want to. And I know it's one of those things where we don't really think about in terms that way. But if you know where your range is, if you know exactly where everything is going to be placed, where the contact is going to happen, well, then you know how to stop short of that. But if you spend all your time training how to miss somebody, how to hit the stick instead of aiming for the person, how to stay safe in the drill, the moment that that drill goes away, the moment that the contact becomes a bit more real, all that goes out the window. Now all of a sudden you're scared because you don't want to hurt this person, because it's a training partner. You have no malicious intent behind it. They have no malicious intent towards you. And all of a sudden that nerve causes you to flinch or react, and all of a sudden you just snap your stick out there and somebody gets hit in the face. Or you block improperly and your own stick hits you in the face. Now all of a sudden there's pain along with the fear, because most of the time when you are training, you spend it missing your target. Now, I'm not saying this is the correct way of doing things. I'm just saying this is the mentality behind why we teach the way that we teach. In our very first classes with our students, we do teach them to drop their hand to keep it safe. Why? Because the moment you extend your hand and then come back down, somebody can just go smack and hit your hand. So we teach them to drop their hand. That keeps their hand safe. So when they're doing a dual training with somebody, learning their very basic movements, they're learning how to keep themselves from getting hit while still achieving their goal. And their goal is to hit the other person in the face. Now I know that sounds wrong, right? But nobody actually gets hit in the face because the other person is doing the same thing, so sticks crossed. Rick, thank you very much. What do I mean by this? My goal is to hit his face right there. I'm keeping my hand down, I'm not bringing it up and then back down. I'm not exposing it because he can just smack it at any given point, right? So I drop my hand instead. And we're both doing the same thing. I'm aiming for his face, but because we're both crossing, the safety happens on its own. I'm not trying to hit a stick. I'm not going here, here. I'm missing him completely. I'm not learning how to hit my target. I'm learning how to miss my target. But if I focus straight on his face, then I know every single time I'm going to hit him. So even if he stops swinging or if I stop swinging, he's still on target, but he's not actually hitting me. He has that control. And over time, you develop this, trust?
Trust.
This
Sure.
trust, thank you very much, William. You develop this trust with your partner, with your other students, with your other classmates, because you're both trying to accomplish something. Now, martial art, it's a contact sport. You are going to get hit, especially if you're training for a real life scenario, how to defend yourself in a real fight in the street, where there are no rules, where you don't know whether that person has friends or doesn't, whether that person's going to stop short of killing you or seriously injuring you at least. You're going to get hurt. There's going to be contact made. And even that in itself becomes a part of the training process. Can you take a hit? You start tempering the body. Now, those of you who do contact sports or mixed martial arts, especially Muay Thai, there's a lot of conditioning that comes to being able to take a hit. It doesn't stop hurting. You just learn how to go through it. And I've been kicked by some Muay Thai practitioners very lightly, and that shit hurts so bad. And you see these guys take kick after kick after kick. Not that they're not receiving any damage, not that they don't feel the pain. It's just that it's dulled because of the conditioning that they've done. It's a contact sport. So they do hit themselves or allow hits to go through so they can learn how to recover from them and move past that and not let it end the fight for them right there. So conditioning then also becomes an important part of any sort of contact sport. You do have to know what it feels like to get struck or hit from time to time. Now with the stick, a bit of a different story, because this is a force multiplier already. Even if you don't know how to swing it properly or how to swing it better, if you just swing it wildly, it's still gonna freaking hurt. So it's a little bit different. You can't quite go into somebody just stand there and you start beating them with the stick. No, that'd be too much. Also joints. You can't protect joints from contact like that. They're not going to get numb. It's just going to get damaged. So there are things to consider in reference to that. For us, for me, we do light tapping, but we do it ourselves. Just so we understand what it's like to get hit. Just so we know, okay, I'm going to survive. Not to mention, if we are practicing from the very beginning, targeting, proper delivery, how to use your mechanics so you're delivering with force, not with strength. And those two very different things. It's not the muscles that you use, but rather just the movement itself. Well, then you're developing how to hit hard, but how to hit exactly where you want to hit every single time. And if you understand that, well, accidents will happen, you are going to get tapped. We had students that at the very beginning, when they first started, they'd get tapped, they would cry. We've had people cry there on the floor. Now those very same students, a year later, are just both attacking fiercely and taking shots when we do the padded stick sparring, and they just keep on going. They barely flinch anymore at that. But again, that takes time to develop. And that's how we get to a point where we eventually start flowing with live sticks. Not for the sake of hurting each other, but because we develop that trust. We know what we're trying to hit, when we're trying to hit it, and then we go about figuring out if we can do something cool, if we can actually get over on somebody, if we can win that particular exchange. And we keep going back and forth, getting close, getting farther away, breaking apart. It becomes the artistic expression of what we know and understand of the art itself. And that's what flow becomes. Now, how does this translate into the real world? Well, in the real world, you don't know what's going to happen. Sure, what we showed you at the beginning of this video started off as a structured drill, but eventually it became free form. There was no, oh, I'm going to do this and you're going to do that. There was no set criteria. There was no drill. There was no steps that we had to follow. It was just him and me. I was trying to hit him. He was trying to hit me. Everything within control because we've learned our targeting, but we were trying to accomplish what we set out to do, which was to beat the guy in front of us. And in the real world, in a real fight, they're not going to tell you if they're going to throw a left or a right. They're not going to hold out their arm for you to finish their technique. They're not going to tell you, oh, I'm going to throw a spinning round. Nothing. They're not going to tell you if they have a weapon or if they have something else or if their friend is sneaking up behind you. So we can't do it structured. It can't be something that you practice specifically. But if you practice how to free flow the whole time, how to adjust, how to adapt, how to change, how to constantly work on the fly and figure out how to get out of that situation, well then that might be more useful. Now again, it's just how we teach things. How you teach people to free flow, how do you teach people to make sure that they don't get stuck in so much structure that when it doesn't work, they freak out. And instead, they just keep on going. One thing didn't work, move on to the next. Another thing didn't work, move on to the next. And so on and so forth. Just keep on pushing until you get the hell out of that situation. And ultimately, that's all we want is our students to be safe. So, we're going to come in? All right.
Hey folks. So, and what you have to understand is when we do our strikes, we understand this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. I have to keep that in mind of what I'm trying to do. But again, we don't care what the other guy's doing. He just has to know to defend that. And here I go, boom, 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 right? And notice, I'm not trying to back away from it. He's not really trying to back away. He just understands it, moves when he needs to, not because he feels like, or try to get away from things. He'll stay there, and we're doing stuff right here. We're not trying to move. We're just going and going, right? I'm not even looking. These are all hot shots that I'm doing. Boom, boom, right? And I'm staying on top of there. Am I in any danger? Hell yeah. But because we both have the control and we see, we're not really trying to maim each other. I just wanted to get my shots get there. Did I get to do the things that I wanted to do? For the most part, yes. But even better is that he gets to stop it at the same time, try to get what he's trying to get. And that's all we're trying to do. How do I get there? Will this happen in a real fight the way it does? Not exactly the way we do it, because we both understand certain things. Mm-hmm. We will allow certain things. But in a real fight, it's nice to know that I can get what I'm trying to get as I'm doing these things. And I think that's what we're trying to teach, is how can you make this applicable in a real fight?
Right, when you don't know what the other person knows.
Correct. So thank you.
Appreciate you. So again, many different ways of doing so, many different ways of training. This just happens to be ours. We wanted to share that with you today because no, none of this is choreographed. None of this is set in stone. It just happens. And for us, it's now a great way to communicate ideas. It's no longer about, oh, let me teach you this technique. No, it's like, hey, that was really cool. That thing you did where you got my leg. How did you do that? Or what did you see? And we can learn from that. And then we can share with each other and grow even more to get more options. So it's just us sharing what we do with you today. Please feel free to share what you do. And we'd love to hear back from you. Till the next one, as usual. 3, 2, 1, cut!